Hey guys, welcome to the Brook Trout Homestead. Today we're going to plant moringa. Hey everybody, guess what? So today we spent our morning at Ron's Organics. We actually talk about this nursery a lot. We enjoy it. It's big, it has perennials, it has annuals, it had vegetables. They make their own compost. You can get it by the truckload. We love Ron's Organics. So right here, we are going to plant our very first moringa tree. I've actually looked up the benefits of moringa in the past, but honestly, I never really thought I'd actually have one. These are amazing for your health. This is a huge anti-inflammatory. What you do with the moringa is you pretty much just pick off a leaf, dry it out if you'd like to dry it out, or you can just eat it like spinach. It has like a slight horseradishy flavor, but nothing too crazy. And it's good for your blood sugar levels, diabetes. It helps prevent that. Your brain health, your hormones. It's just overall a superfood. They eat this a lot in India, and that's kind of where it came from India to here, and they started just propagating and allowing us to use this wonderful item. I mean, what can you go wrong? It's organic, it's a superfood, and it's from the Lord, right? I'm not huge on trees. We should be. My husband is more the tree guy, but this is just something that is easy to grow. It grows really fast, and you can propagate it easily, kind of like the elderberry. If you've ever grown elderberry, grows really quick in a season. When it's too cold, you just cut the branches off, stick it in dirt, bam, propagation. So I'm going to allow my husband to be the one on this video mostly. He's going to show you how we're going to plant this moringa tree. You can plant this in containers, or you can put it right in your ground. Because we're in Dallas, well, a little outside of Dallas, we're kind of risking it when it goes into winter time. But I've done some research, and a lot of people actually grow this here. It has a lot to do with the mulching for it to actually last the winter or die back and then come back. As long as you have a good amount of mulch and some good fertile soil to keep, so it can keep warm, it should be fine. If you're kind of neglecting it, not mulching and all that stuff, the ground will get cold, the roots will get cold, and the likeness of it coming back in the springtime is pretty slim. I know other people who use containers, they put it right on their porch and it works fine during the winter time, or they'll bring it into their garage. Totally depends on what you want to do. I'll probably put more info on the moringa on this video, maybe at the end. We'll see.
All right, so as my wife was saying, we're going to plant the moringa tree. So it's pretty simple. If you've never planted a tree before, basically what you want to do is when you dig your hole, you want to dig it no deeper than where the soil is in the pot, because otherwise you'll rot it out and you'll end up killing it. So I'm just going to dig it as deep as this, and then we're going to go ahead and plant this directly where I'm at, and we'll just go from there. So in the bottom of our hole, we're going to add some manure, some rabbit manure and worm castings, just to help richen the soil up. Now, one trick I figured out, and I've watched a lot of videos on, is when you dig your hole for your tree, it's better to dig a square hole versus a round hole. And they say the reason why that is because the pot is already round, and if you plant it in around the roots, they seem to want to follow the curvature of the hole. So if you do it square, the roots go out and it hits a wall and it goes in, it continues to go through. So it actually begins to search out and have a stronger root system versus a round hole. A square hole is better. So just a little bit of knowledge for you on that one. If you were wondering why my hole looks kind of square, that's why I do it that way. So I'm going to add some of this to the bottom. And then we're going to plant this tree, and we'll be right back to you. One tree here, as you can see, and then we got another one here and another one there. So we got a bunch of these trees, which is amazing, because technically we thought we were only buying one, but we're actually going to plan out multiple of these to help grow and produce where we are. So as you can tell, I'm probably going to be digging a little more holes now, but that's a huge blessing that we got so many out of this one pot, because we were worried whether we needed one or two or however many we needed. So we're going to plant this one here where it's at. I'm going to keep some of the native dirt in here with it, so that way it can help that. But we're going to just plant this right here where it's at. And then I'm going to dig a couple more holes in this area, and we're going to plant these out as well. All right, so now that we have this one planted in here, like she said, we're going to come back and put some mulch around it really well, mulch it up really nice and everything. That way it can try to suppress some of these weeds that are around it, and try to take it out. So I'm going to dig holes for the other two that we're going to plant here. One's going to be over this way area, and over there we're going to spread them out really nice. So since these trees are fast growing, we're going to try to keep them away from one another and move them around. The other small ones that we have, we're about to go over, and I'm going to show you what my wife is doing with those. We're actually going to pot those up and allow them to grow in a pot first, and then eventually either pot them off or plant them off into our garden, or who knows, we may bless another family with them.
All right, guys, I am so excited that we figured out that we have more than what we thought. What I'm just going to go ahead and do is put some of these in pots, and I'm going to use my clay pots. We actually just got these free from a man whom I guess he bought a property that used to be an old greenhouse store. I'm not exactly sure what happened with that, but he bought the property. I guess he didn't feel like selling them all separately, but there were a ton of pots, terracotta, plastic, seed trays, all of that good stuff there. And he opened it to the public and was just like, hey, come get whatever you want, but you have to hurry up and come get it. So my husband and I went that way, and we ended up getting a bunch of terracotta and some seed starting trays. So I'm super excited. The terracotta is great because it holds water way better than a regular plastic pot. These are not glazed, which I love, so the moisture will definitely stay, but not drown out my plants. Some other things I have planned for these moringa is making a protein powder, or I guess a moringa powder. All you'll do is you pick off the leaves, not necessarily just the leaves, but some branches, you cut them and you hang them like you would any other herbs. And then once they're dry, you put them in a grinder processor, and then you turn it into the powder, and you can use that in your smoothies, your soups, I mean, whatever you want to use it. You can even put it in a veggie capsule and take it daily. Like I said, it has so many great nutrition to it, so we're super excited. And like he said, we may just be able to propagate a bunch of these from the plants that we currently have and give them away, sell them if we needed to. So just, this is a win-win situation for us.
All right, so after you plant them, you just want to give it a nice good soak. Make sure that soil is nice and taking in that water. Like that. Nice and soaked in there, so that way those roots cannot dry out right after being planted. As you can tell, we have sandy soil here, so it just sometimes takes a little bit for that water to soak in. And another thing we did, if you see this cane right here, pretty much we had to stake it because the tree was so weak and so young. You want to make sure that it stays put where it's at. So we just put a cane on every single one of them, did a nice loose tie on it. You don't want it too tight because then it'll damage the plant. But we did a nice little loose knot on each one of them and did that. We watered it in, and that's pretty much all it is. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.